Welcome everyone. Welcome to the second part of today's sessions and today's discussions. Now, during this afternoon, we will be discussing the future of events, okay, and how and the inevitable future of the events industry, okay. In order to do it, we will have with us Hamad and Judith from Mice Tribe, Dennis from Shuttle Planet, and George from BAM Ticketing. Okay, I think this will be a really nice discussion. It's something that it's really changing the events industry. Actually, we are in one event that have changed on the structure during the last year. Okay, but you know what? In order to start this discussion, like we have done previously in the morning sessions, I think that we can start by getting to know you, getting to know your startups. So maybe Hamad or Judith, one of you can introduce us, My Stripe.
Hi, Fernando. Hi, everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
So, MyStrive is basically a software that allows anyone or any organizer to run hybrid events. I have a small presentation that maybe I can go through,
Sure,
and from there it will be much clearer. Okay,
sure, share it with
sharing
us.
my screen. There we go. So the tourism that we're actually targeting, Fernando, is the business tourism. And I'm sure you know this, but the business tourism industry is valued at a $3.2 trillion annually. And to put that in perspective, the whole airline industry is less than $1 trillion. So you can imagine the amount of business that goes and gets moved through such industry. However, this is also the industry of gathering thousands of people into one location and encouraging them to shake hands and communicate and all of that, which has now become a big challenge, of course, because this is now the recipe of spreading infection. So a lot of people are thinking that virtual events is the solution, something like what we have here. But the reality is all the organizers do prefer to bring people and meet in person, because 70% of the human communication is nonverbal communication. And without this chemistry and gut feeling between people, they don't want to do business with each other. And this is actually mainly the main target, let's say, or KPI of event managers, is to bring or generate like quality leads. However, event managers also know that even after the pandemic, there will still be restrictions on how many people they can allow into venues to stop like future diseases from spreading. So this dilemma basically led to something we call the hybrid event revolution. The hybrid event revolution means for some fee, you can attend the event virtually from anywhere, and we will try to make the best experience for you while you are in your place. However, for a premium fee, you will be one of the people I will invite to the venue, so you can come, shake hands with people, have on-spot meetings close to the next action. Basically, be a social, we are social creatures. So experience that and communicate with people and go back home with results. In order for you to do this, and this is the biggest challenge right now that event organizers are facing, they have teams that knows how to run live events, and suddenly they realize that they need teams that knows how to run virtual events or digital events. But in reality, it's not really that hard. All they need is a data processing software or a software that allows them to handle these new formats. They need to know how many people are inside their venues at any given time. So when the new restrictions are there, they know they can report to health authorities that they are meeting the numbers. And depending on the conference, you need to utilize multiple softwares, like what we're doing here, for example, so you can deliver the proper experience for that event. And that means your attendees have to maybe register on multiple platforms, and your database is defragmented, and your reports as well. So this is what MyStripe does. It's a complete set of tools that allows you to run everything on site. And also it allows you to plug in all the softwares that you like, so you can have them all in one place, and the whole process is streamlined. So people can move between softwares and so on without even feeling that they have moved. And then the data stays centralized in one place, and the reports and everything. So, for example, in your next hybrid event, you can know exactly how many people are in each part of your venue, and you can share that information with health authorities or regulatory authorities for your event. You can also plug the different apps that you like for your event, depending if it's a medical conference or if it's a trade fair or. And your attendees probably wouldn't even know that they are moving from one platform to the other because everything happens automatically and the apps talk to one another. That homework is not on the people to do themselves. And the best part is, if anything happens and you need to change the format, new restriction, something, whatever, now since everything is centralized, you click one click and you change the whole format and everything will get automatically computed. Following that strategy, in 2020, when we introduced this, we had 450% increase in the number of events we were running. And in 2021, we have already double of that, and it's June. So all of this was done with 150K in seed funding. And with that money, we generated 1.4 million in revenue. We expanded to 4 physical regions. We have processed almost 1 million people in our events. And we are now running the biggest events, some of the biggest events in the Middle East, especially in Doha and in Dubai and some parts of Europe. And basically what we want to take from here is, now that we know that the hybrid event revolution is going and it's starting, we want to start, ramping up for it and expanding our team so we can meet that high demand that is about to happen. Thank you, Fernando. That's all for me.
You are welcome, Hamad. Dennis, can you tell us a little about Shuttle Planet?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. Let me just open my presentation.
Yeah, I think it's appearing right now.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. All right. So Shuttle Planet. It's to put it shortly, it's a passenger transportation marketplace. Think Booking.com just for passenger transportation. When talking tourism and travel, I think a very large part of it is actually moving physically. So the novelty of Shuttle Planet is addressing the low supply and demand areas, rural areas, by establishing on-demand shared transportation in advance, scheduled. So it's actually bridging the gap between scheduled transportation, buses, trains, and so on, and on-demand transportation. The vision is creating a service where you're free to request transportation in anywhere you go, very area agnostic. So the opportunities and the problems that are, I think, quite apparent, and even when looking at cities, if you read between the lines, the congestion, the overpopulation, and the transportation problems that causes. People like to. It's one of the main reasons people like to be very close to cities, if not actually in them. So rural areas, people with disabilities that have trouble moving around, the elderly, low-income families. Shared transportation is to share the price, so it goes as low as it possibly can. Depending on people traveling. Veterans and medical, on-demand medical services. So what we do is basically, in a marketplace business model, we allow anyone to schedule their own transportation anywhere they want to go. This demand is then aggregated and distributed to small and large transportation companies. So as I mentioned, the competitive advantage is absolutely the demand responsive system used in a marketplace environment. We've processed pre-COVID a couple of €1,000, basically with an MVP. The market is huge, pretty much. Our business model encompasses trains, buses, all ground transportation, passenger ground transportation, really. Market adoption. So we are very active in festivals and events, um, partnerships with tourist agencies, travel websites, and so on. We take a 12% commission out of every payment for the transportation companies that would be interested in joining us. That's the only expense. The team consists 5 of us, very remote, and we're looking for funding or seed funding of €500,000, mostly for customer acquisition, marketing, and so on. That's it.
Thanks a lot, Dennis. It was really nice to know about Shuttle Planet. George, what can you tell us about BAM ticketing?
Hi, thanks for having me. Well, I would like to share also my presentation.
Sure.
I have to state, well, I'm not the virtual guy, nor the hybrid one. I'm pretty human and a social animal, and I'm a live event guy. But let's start with the quiz. Do you know how many tickets are bought by automated bots? Well, on average, that's 42%, but up to 90%, and that's crazy. But ticketing markets are broken because of many more reasons. Automated bots buying the tickets. And 90% of the tickets are resold by professional traders. PDF tickets can be easily faked, and up to 12% fall victim to such a scam. And all this leads to completely absurd prices in the end. These industry issues are well known by everybody and all over the media. Metallica, Elton John, Adele, Ed Sheeran, you name them, and many more fight these issues actively. Even hard regulations lack real power in this fight, but there is an easy cure for these diseases, and that is BAM ticketing. Using blockchain technology, we make tickets tamper-proof. Bots are detected in real time, and black markets can be completely dried up. On top, organizers can get additional revenue from secondary markets and gain full control over all transactions. This also opens up a completely new possibilities in fan engagement in the end. Also good news for the fans, increased availability by cutting out the middleman, easy and secure resale and transfer of digital tickets, and finally, fair prices. Our digital services also cover all major means of risk mitigation for live events during the pandemic, like contactless ticket sale, contactless ticket transfer, contactless entry, as well as social distance seating, time slot entry, or even contact tracing. We think that the future of live events will be around digital identities, but still keeping the anonymity of us people. And this is where actually blockchain technology kicks in. What we can provide is also a self-sovereign identity with the digital ID, or we could attach a certificate of blacklisted people to an event ticketing platform. And currently we are working on a digital health pass, so we can scan the ticket along with the green pass certificate to only have one process when letting people into your event. BAM provides the trusted SWIFT network and marketplace for ticketing transactions, a universal wallet for NFT tickets and all common pass types like flight tickets, member cards, or even digital health certificates, as mentioned before. but our services can be integrated in any existing fan application or website as well. Blockchain technology might set off a revolution here in event ticketing, but in future, blockchain technology will cover, due to interoperability with other systems, a lot more in the event industry in the end. As you can see, we came quite far, but we definitely will go further. In 2019, we were founded and accepted by a highly ranked incubation program, and we were granted a public funding. This year, we were incorporated into the blockchain BlockRocket Accelerator and nominated for the Austrian Blockchain Award, but finally won the German Blockchain Award. This year, we will apply for additional seed stage public fundings and are already in talks with universities for research partnerships. To leverage on this, we are opening a seed investment round already now and are planning to close this round by end of August. So this is BAM ticketing, and I'm happy to discuss now the future of the live event industry.
Yeah, I think now it's the time for all of us to do it. Yeah, guys, I think that we can start with the big question here. Everything have changed during last year, during COVID crisis. More or less, I think that all of you talked about that, and I think that in the events industry, the big question in everyone's mind is: will the events stay digital, or at least I think that we can all agree that not all the events will stay digital, but which part of them will stay digital after this crisis? What have we learned, and what have changed during the COVID crisis, and how events will be after everyone is vaccinated and everyone is ready to come to live events again? Maybe, yeah. You can, each one of you, start.
Okay. Shall we start with the same sequence, or?
Yeah, we can do it. Yeah, let's do it.
So your question is really what keeps us awake at night. Okay, what is going to happen next for events? And I'm sure it's the same with everyone here. Fernando, as I mentioned, this is a $3.2 trillion industry, the business tourism, and it's really hard to channel all of this through Zoom and I don't know, Microsoft Teams and things like this. So the future, as we anticipate, and from the trends we're seeing on our platform and generally, is that the moment people will be allowed to go back on venues, they will make that, they will start using that. However, people have tasted virtual events, and it has become, by the way, virtual events has been there for a while, right? They have been there for 10 years. It's not something new. It's only something that the demand increased on it all of a sudden because of COVID. But before, virtual events were not cutting it. They were not really the thing that was making people, everyone, now there is a virtual event, so I will not attend personally, right? So my anticipation is there will be a surge on live events and in-person events, and it will probably be in the near future something where it will be 90% or 80% attending physically, and then later that percentage will increase, because with virtual events people learned other things that they like. They learned that they can attend multiple events from their same location, and they like that. They learned that they can now have more events, less traveling. They can virtual events also can run for longer days, so the cost is lower, and you can run an event for a week, and that is fine. One great thing about virtual events is that all the content and interactions and everything is recorded and organized, so you don't really exchange a business card with someone and then go back later and write them an email and say, hi, do you remember me? We met during this event. No, everything is still on the same platform and converts better. And so that's what people like in virtual events. And I think day by day, there will be more and more virtual event engagement apps that allows this, the virtual event concept, to take more of the market share when it comes to events in general.
Yeah, I see your point. Do you agree with Hamid, George, and Dennis?
Well, I pretty much agree, and I think it's important here to differentiate between what my stripe almost perfectly covers, this hybrid event or virtual event industry, which is most suitable for, and I think most of the events will be hybrid events in the future when it comes to conferences and
Yeah.
meetings where, well, you do presentations and it's more about content.
Yeah.
And honestly, from my experience over the past year, it's also more efficient, because even if you arrange a meeting, a face-to-face meeting, you will not get distracted by any people passing by. So I
Yeah,
think
sure.
for conferences, this is like really that's the kick it needed to become hybrid as fast as possible. But for live events, like I don't know, for live performances,
Yeah.
well,
Like
you
a
could
concert,
fly.
for example, right?
Yeah, like a concert or a festival. It's about emotions and dancing and going wild. Yes, you can
Yeah.
do that at home, but most people tend to, well, see others go wild as well. And even if it comes only to the music performance, it's an art to see it and hear it live. You can have the best headphones, you can have the best hi-fi boxes. You will never have the same experience as you listen to live music. So this will not happen for live music. There will no virtual music concerts in the future if it's not necessary.
Yeah, I feel that I agree with you, actually, but I'm not an
Well,
expert on the on the
for
industry.
this, obviously,
Dennis,
we need.
yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Yeah, no
continue,
worries.
George.
No.
No
Go on,
worries.
Dennis.
No worries. Yeah.
Dennis, you also organize, you coordinate with a lot of festivals and all of that, right? So you probably during this last year discussed with them, no, what will
Yeah,
happen?
yeah. A lot of festivals did virtual concerts. That's it. It was an emergency situation that we were in. What else can you do? I mean,
Yeah.
and then they were selling T-shirts and mugs with logos and stuff like that. What else are you gonna do? Just somehow to earn something for all the effort still put in before in last year in 220, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, if we're talking about festivals specifically, like that's like virtual, that's not gonna work. I don't even think that virtual is gonna be like hybrid for festivals specifically is gonna be hybrid because as we mentioned, I agree that festivals are an experience. You hear it, you feel it, you sweat it out, and so on. So, but as far as I think it's going to be very interesting seeing if this is going to
Yeah.
stick in the future. I don't know. That's a dice roll. I don't know. I think it's a big advantage doing hybrid. So for people that can't attend in person, that they can still participate in some way for conferences, meetings, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think eventually, companies and so on are gonna start realizing again what big advantage it is to be there in person, that you get the
Yeah.
deal, that you can sign something in person, have that relationship, have that chemistry, that dopamine, that
Yeah.
serotonin,
Sure.
and so on. I think eventually our biology will prevail, and that we won't be able to stick with just virtual for long. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, I think that it's something that at least just full disclosure for the ones that are seeing us, we have been organizing the all Aceler Tech program online. So I've been working with all of the startups for the last few months online with all of them, and I think that we all felt that if this was really in Portugal with all the companies, it would be like a completely different experience. There are some things that you can't do that easy online. But yeah, actually, Judith, do you want to add something? I guess that you probably agree with Ahmed.
Yeah.
But if you want to have
I
something,
agree with Ahmed, of course. But as you just said, this whole experience that we've had, all the top 20 finalists, I think it was possible for all 20 of us to attend just because it was virtual, you know?
yeah, that's the
Maybe
good
if this
part.
was not virtual, maybe half of them wouldn't have been able to attend due to restrictions or something like that, you know? So it's like,
And you have another thing. It's like when it's digital, I think that people are more able to take the risk and to just join without
exactly,
really
because
knowing
there's
the
no cost
value.
involved, you know?
Yeah.
As George mentioned, we all like the part where everything is virtual because we can attend content events that deliver high content, things that we can experience digitally. It's perfect to attend virtual, but something like a concert somewhere that I need to drive with Dennis's app, this you will just never experience this virtually as you would physically.
Yeah, sure. I agree with you. Actually, guys,
Fernando, sorry.
I will just ask you when you are not talking to drop the mic off because some people are telling us that there is some back sound. So let's do it. Yeah. Hamid, you was telling us.
No, I was just saying basically virtual events used to be a painkiller, and now they're moving into being a vitamin, during events. So it's something that everyone like really needed. And as I said, what I'm expecting is for live events to do this, and then after that, we'll get back a little bit down, and virtual events will start picking up. In few years from now, I believe every event will have a virtual parallel experience to it.
Sorry, I had my drop my mic drop out. I asked you, so I have done the same, and it didn't work well. Yeah, I was telling you that. But you know what? Let's move on. In the sense that, yeah, we all know that digitalization will arrive to the events industry. Okay, it's something that is here. And more or less we can discuss if the events will be more digitalized or less digitalized, if they will be hybrid or not, but at least they will be a little. But besides the digitalization, what do you think that will be the main changes in the event industry during the next few years? It's like, how do you think that will be an event in like 50 years from now? Besides the part that they will be hybrid and all of that, but there will be more changes, right? Like, I assume with what George told us that the tickets will be really more safe, and from what Dennis told us, the interconnections with the transportation systems will be great, it will be better, sure, but what do you think that will be the main changes from now on?
Okay. First of all, I think the content is definitely a big part of it. So during the last year and a half, it was all about the content, and that has progressed a lot. So now it's not enough for attendees that I bring you on site and throw you there and you do your thing. There is a lot of added value that needs to be there. Also, running things virtual and hybrid, I think in few years from now, what will start happening is that you will probably be running a hybrid event in multiple locations, but with smaller groups. I'm speaking about business events. Of course, that's not concerts or something like this. So, for example, something maybe like Web Summit would maybe, instead of running in one location, it would be running in multiple locations at the same time. And there is a virtual experience as well. And imagine this: if you are sitting somewhere that is not any part of the three locations where the event is happening, you are moving between these venues virtually. You are meeting some people from the ones that are attending in person there, and so on. So the engagement is also the second challenge. There would be a lot more focus into how do we engage the people that are connecting virtually and in person, so they can travel or teleport to another location, even if they have paid for an in-person ticket. Some things maybe as well, I believe, will be in the style of delivering events might change. So there would be, for example, the stages and the lighting and the experience. Before, it used to be the flowers, the chocolate, the valet parking, and all of these kind of things. But now you want to have one experience or one size that fits all, something that you can have, that one experience, and everyone will have an almost similar experience if they attend virtually or in person. So you can give value to that virtual and you can charge more for it. So I think this is where the market is shifting toward, for that gap between the virtual and in person to reduce a bit by bit, more and more, as people do more product market fit, because they didn't have enough time to do that actually during COVID.
Makes sense.
I would
What
like
do you
to
think?
give this
Yeah.
a more human aspect, not business related, because I think what I stated before, that live events are important. Well, I think they will really pick up, and people will hopefully not only next year but the years after really again enjoy live events more. Not because they realize they will die at some point in time, but they realize they can virtually die. And this means attending a virtual festival, which is not the same. So I think people will start enjoying live events and social interaction even more, because the year showed us that this is important to us.
And you, Dennis, what do you think?
Well, like what the festivals are gonna look like in the future, like in 30 to 50 years.
Yeah, not necessarily the festivals, all the events, like what
All
are
the
the
events.
main.
Well, I mean, I think festivals and conferences are quite different. It's a very different goal of the whole thing. Very different experience. Um, well, I think conferences are gonna, there's gonna be a lot of virtual. I think a lot of those high tech screens that we see in movies. I think fancy gadgets like that. I think a lot of people are gonna dig that. Um, but like on the other spectrum, festivals, I don't know. It's a hard question. I think like in Asia, you got like hologram concerts. Maybe something like that is gonna catch up in the West as well.
Even before COVID, ABBA, the group from the 70s, already announced that they was coming back as an holograms, coordinated by the original band. But they have like 80s now, so they
Yeah.
are launching holograms to make a concert coordinated by
Yeah.
them. It's like this,
Yeah.
this is happening, and this happened. They announced that before COVID, and they just postponed because of COVID. But it's something that is there.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we'll have like really old groups that can't really move and make a show anymore. We'll have them in a hologram, really vibrant and having a party. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to be easier getting to the venue, and I don't know. I'm not going to talk about price. God knows what the inflation is going to do and all that stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that's a very tough question. I mean, I don't think we can change our biology much. We're still gonna be very social, and we're still
Yeah,
gonna
sure.
love to have a good time. It's just technology, how it's gonna look like. I don't see other ways than like virtual holograms and stuff like that. Um, Maybe experience is more visual. Like I don't know, Rammstein is like I don't know if anyone's ever been on
Yeah.
a concert with them. That's like hell of a show. A lot of stuff. But yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
And tell me something. Now, in different way to see things, how do you think that these changes, like the virtualization of events, the new things that will happen, the coordination with the transports, the now safer tickets, all of that, how do you think that it will impact the companies that are already working in this industry? Because I don't know how, I don't have data about the international industry, but at least in Portugal we have like a lot of small companies that works in the events industry, and they are just family owned companies. They know their business, they know how to do it, but they're not always so easy to show them how they can use technology on their advantage. How do you think that this will impact all these changes will impact the companies that are already working in the events industry, because it's a concern with all technologies, right?
Yes, of course. It's for sure a massive struggle for these small businesses and so on. And I honestly think what made us unique here was this. Actually, there are many before COVID. There were many uh, software companies that know that in the event industry there is like big demand and we can make money here. And then on the other hand, you have a lot of events companies that developed maybe a small software for themselves, and then it worked for them, and they started like expanding it. The first party does not know what really happens on site and how do people interact and all of these kind of things. They're trying to anticipate it. And the other side does not know what is the best technology to utilize. And this is exactly now what's happening as well. They're stuck in between. Some of them decided to go and try different tools and see how they can move things virtual. And some of them, they said, okay, we'll shut down everything and wait until things get back in person. But there were many opportunities that these companies could use. And some of them, for example, is turning your venue into a virtual event studio, for example, and then you can run things from there for both. And other opportunities. I think these are the things that will start surfacing soon. And for these companies, they will probably you will start seeing more and more of these ideas in the near future. However, I think it's a good time for them. What is coming up is probably going to be a good time for them because it's the time of recovery. We know that because during COVID, our events were basically maybe 2 events per day, 1 event per day. But then now we know that in September, we have like 5 events in 4 or 5 different countries, and we have to handle all of them and with a small team that used to run virtual events. So I think this is where the market will shift for these companies.
Sure, makes sense.
I'd also like, can I add something there? I think that this whole situation gave a lot of the smaller companies that kind of forced them to look at technology, to look at solutions that they can start using. People that were doing things manually now figured out that, listen, manually is not going to cut it anymore because we cannot manually run a virtual event. We need some technology to help us to do this. And I think it forced a lot of people to start looking into how can we go digital, how can we utilize underutilized technologies to start doing what we should have been doing 5 years ago, So I think it also gave a lot of the underdogs the opportunity to kind of get in there and start running things the way that bigger companies have been running it, because there's so many solutions available now at any price range. And I think really now everyone should be, if you really use this opportunity to grow, a lot of companies could have grown really well during this period.
Yeah. I want to add something small here, Fernando. This took us a lot of time actually to decide in the end that we want to stay as a data processor that handles this traffic, But during that process, what happened as well is that, as Yuta mentioned, there were many companies that used to use web forms or something like this, and now suddenly they realize these things are not going to cut it, and they have to have a digital solution. So it's definitely also a good time for digital solutions. And what you're doing here right now, like these webinars and actually educating the market about how to tackle the future, is what every virtual event app is doing right now. They're running their own webinars and their own sessions and things like this to tell people the solution is here. It's just that you don't know much about technology, but once you adapt it, the rest is easy.
Yeah, sure.
I think you specifically also know about that experience yourself.
You can never roll there. Yeah. Dennis, what do you think?
Yeah.
Sorry, you are on mute.
We heard that's what you think, not Dennis what you think. So, Dennis.
Oh, yeah.
I very much agree that after every crisis is a period of high growth.
Yeah, sure.
So that's which is good. that's good for small and big companies. Um, a lot of opportunities. Um, I think like it's overall not just specific to tourism or anything. Overall, I think the accessibility of partnerships and doing business overall, I think the accessibility is increasing tremendously because of technology, which makes it much easier for smaller companies to compete. But on the other hand, the competitiveness is also increasing. Once you adopt these new technologies, you realize that there's a lot of other people already there because of this eased accessibility. So
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, it's always a bit of Darwinism in this. So
Yeah.
I mean, but you know, as far as transportation goes, um, which I like to be on point with. I think the coming. I don't think it's going to happen very soon. Overall, the adoption, but I think the the coming of self-driving vehicles is going to be very interesting. I think the competitiveness of smaller companies. I don't know how that's going to work because I think eventually it's going to shift either to a couple of very large companies doing transportation with these self-driving vehicles, or it's going to be a gig economy, and like everyone can, just
Yeah,
just
sure.
give their car for other people to use. Um, I'm not. It's hard to see how smaller companies in the transportation sector are going to deal with it. I don't know. I mean, we'll try to help once we get there. I don't think it's
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to come soon. But when it comes, I think we'll be in a good spot to help
To
them
enter. Yeah.
connect, yeah, to enter markets and keep them there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George, what do you think?
Well, I think I have to differentiate a bit my answer because I think technology is always a driver for industries becoming more efficient, and the pricing pressure is increasing, and of course, in our case, moving a purely paper-based industry to fully digital, even adding there some like really core USPs, like getting additional revenue from secondary markets, and controlling finally the tickets and eliminating paid tickets. That might be interesting for sports clubs, for festivals, and but honestly, we had a lot of requests from the cultural industry because they were searching for the first time for an online sales channel. All their patrons were up to now lining up at their box offices, and in most cases, they don't have the people to control or manage an online shop.
Sure.
So this is something where we have seen that there is a lot of request, and they need something which is like really easy to use and most likely fulfill some very specific tasks, like time slot ticketing for a museum, which we did, where you try to at first you try to control the line of 50 people in front of your museum, and now you're going digital and you try to control the number of people arriving at your venue, so that's completely moved. And also for theaters, hopefully this will not stay. This social distancing with seated events, that's a huge topic, and doing this automatically, that's a huge feature there. It's a broad range of technologies which have risen in the past year, and a lot of applications there. But I think all technology has to come with super easy usability to reach not only the festival visitors, but also the cultural tourists at the end.
Yeah, sure. Well, guys, we are really short in time, okay? So we will not have time for a lot of questions from the audience. But we have 1 year will live translation be a trend in event organization?
Definitely.
What do you think?
We are already.
This is
working with
not
some
as much
partners
for the
where-
concerts, right? This
Yeah,
is not so much for the concerts, it's more for the content
for
events. But
meetings and conferences. We are already working with some partners that are actually also visualizing this. So if you have an event, for example, you can hire them, and people just have they scan a QR code during the event and or launch a card in their confirmation emails, and they can choose the language, and the translators are seated in different parts of the world, and they are listening to the content and they are translating it in real time. So this is definitely something that already started happening, and it's a very successful startup, and for sure that's definitely going to be a new demand.
for one moment I imagine it like a concert with some subtitles translating the lyrics for the
Yeah.
George, Dennis, I have one question for you more related with the concerts. The concerts and the not content events, but about the extended experience before and after live performance, how technology can provide a different experience. What do you think?
Well, our take there, well, it was triggered by the pandemic. We can communicate with the ticket itself instead of the patron or the fan. So we don't need to know who is visiting a Rammstein concert, but we can directly address this ticket before an event. I don't know, inform the ticket holder if the lineup changes. Without knowing who is the holder of the ticket, even if he transferred it to his friend, and this friend then sold it to another friend, and this other friend gave it to his grandmother, we can always communicate to the current ticket holder before an event. Well, during the event, it's very similar, but we can tell the section A that beer ran out in the sports stadium. They need to go to section B during the pause. And after the event, well, hopefully this will change, we can inform people of a specific sector at a specific seat that, well, there was a positive COVID case. He shall please call number XYZ.
Yeah. And Dennis, what is your perspective here?
Yeah, I mean, I'll focus on the transportation part of visiting venues. Well, what we're working on basically is for people to not have to look for transportation anymore, but the other way around. So getting to the venue and back should be more customized without increasing the price. That's of course that applies to other areas, not just festivals. But I see that happening. I mean, that's what we're doing already. So hopefully scaled up and make it a lot easier, much more customizable to the individual. Yeah.
Okay, guys, it was really great to have you here. Actually, we are out of time. I don't know if you have any final.
Not really. I just
points?
wanted to say that we will be on our table.
Yeah, I will say that.
What I wanted to say is right now, because we are events people and we know that the way out is to help one another. So any event organizer that is stuck trying to do in-person or virtual events, we will be on our table, and if that is a Portuguese event organizer, we will support them with giving them a 3 months pro accounts that allows them to do everything. We will support them with everything we can until we're all back on our feet.
That's a good offer. Okay, guys, it was really great to have you here. As Hamid said, the discussion can continue on the networking area of the virtual fair, the lounge area. So, if you want to continue this discussion, you can go to the lounge area, networking area of the virtual fair. You can join the tables of our speakers, and you can discuss like face to face with them these questions because they will be there. It's one of the advantages of the virtual events. If you prefer to keep watching the sessions and you can send them an email later. All the contact informations are also on the virtual fair on the virtual stands. Okay, so just take a minute to go there and check. And thanks again, guys. This was a really great discussion. And for everyone that is listening to us, we will come back in 5 minutes. Okay. We are with a little late on all the schedule, but we will come back in 5 minutes for our next talk that will be about how to provide a better experience to the travelers. Okay, so see you soon. See you in 5 minutes. So thanks again, guys. It was great.
Thank you so much.
See you soon. Welcome again, everyone. It was a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here with you again. So, next move on with discussions about the future of tourism. Okay, and now we will discuss how to provide a better experience to the travelers. Okay, and in order to do that, we will have some cool startups with us. We will have local purse, Lola from local purse. We have Karina and Adriano from Food and Roads. Oh, Sarah from local purse. Actually, sorry, Sarah, I will join you to Lola. We will have Luca from Lucat, and we will have Vaclav from Smart Guide. Welcome you all. How are you guys?
Thank you.
Doing good.
Excited.
Thank you.
Okay, I will ask you to drop off your mics when you are not talking, okay? Because we are having some echo here, and to close the transmission on the virtual fair because this is making like double audio from someone of you. But you know what? Like we have done in the last few sessions, before we start really the discussion, I think the better idea and the better way to do this is to know more about you, okay? So I would like to invite you to tell us a little bit more about your companies, okay? And to explain us as what you do. Maybe Lola, maybe you can start.
Absolutely. And we're thrilled to be here to introduce Local Bus. So instead of me talking, I'm going to play a short video that tells you what a Local Bus is all about. So
Okay.
just 1 second.
Sure. Let's do it.
You see, I'm going to share the video now. Right. So
Yeah,
Come to local
I
bus,
think we
a
have the video
marketplace
here.
for live cultural shopping. When we stopped traveling, we all felt it emotionally, physically, financially. The travel industry lost over $1 trillion in revenue and over 100 million jobs were lost. To put this in perspective, this is the entire population of Germany plus an additional 20 million people who lost their jobs. The most impacted are the travel guides, as well as the local artisans and cultural vendors who lost all their revenue when we stopped traveling. Local Pass is the solution that solves all three problems. Local Pass is a web-based platform where artisans and travel guides can list their video shopping experiences and host travelers virtually from around the world. Our unique selling point is that we save tons of money, travel is not required, we facilitate the sharing and exchange of culture, we help reduce carbon footprints, are great for the environment, as well as we provide access and equity, so access to those who couldn't travel before, who didn't have the means to travel, as well as equity for locals so they can start generating income again. And we've got a lot of press from the likes of National Geographic and The Guardian to Travel and Leisure and The Telegraph. They say rising tide lifts all boats, and we've created this painkiller for the travel industry by marrying the macro trend of live video shopping, which is the future of retail, to cultural experiences. Because for us, the best part of what we do is the people and the connections we make. So welcome to Local Pulse and come join us. And we're looking with this program to connect with the right people who share our mission and our vision. Thank you.
Thanks, Lola. Okay, maybe now we can know a little bit more about Food and Road. Karina, Adriano, what can you tell us about Food and Road?
Okay, so let me share a presentation.
That's fine.
Just 1 second.
Yeah, I'm receiving
Okay,
it.
you see, okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about food now. So, well, food, as we know, is one of the few elements that can bring uniqueness to a place and can truly connect visitors to its culture and territory. So food tourism is a $1 trillion segment and will continue to grow as people ask for more authentic experiences. And talking about Portugal, I truly believe that Portugal already takes and can take even more advantage of that. Because if you travel from north, from the mountains of Trás-os-Montes, all the way south to the Algarve coast, you can always find something original to try. Every food here has a story, every village brings its own flavor, and people will travel for that. So to give an example, We have Anna. So Anna, when she travels, she loves to find hidden treasures and explore local flavors. On the other side, we have Mr. Doc, which is a local tour provider that values culinary traditions, and he can take Anna to visit one of his contacts, Dona Inês, which is a Portuguese farmer that offers tasting sessions, farm-to-table activities, and cooking classes. And that's exactly what Anna wants. But now the question is how easy is for them to find each other? We know it's not that easy, because when Anna, the traveler, Googles it, the information is usually superficial and the offers are very fragmented. So that's why we created Food and Road, which is a one-stop shop platform for food travel. There, travelers can book authentic gastronomy experiences and also plan tailor-made trips, culinary trips. We handpick every activity in our portfolio to cover all types of food travelers. So our offers goes from luxury gourmands to foodies to gastronomy students and professional chefs. My name is Adriano, so I'm the co-founder of Food and Road with my partner Karina, and we left our corporate careers in Brazil to travel the world for over 2 years, and we did trips specifically to understand food tourism market and get these references for our business. And we really believe that food is a perfect tool to connect people with the territory, with different cultures, and we want to bring that interest back into gastronomic culture and deliver these connections. So we are now in Portugal looking for partners. And if there's anyone watching and think we can work together, I invite you to talk with us, because gastronomy can really boost tourism in all regions of Portugal and at the same time. So we can do it together. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Adriano. Okay, maybe now we can know a little bit more about Luca. Luca, can you tell us about...
Thank you, Fernando. Let me just share my screen.
You're welcome. Let's do it.
Are you able to see my screen now?
Yeah, now we are.
Okay. Where is it? Just a second. I have some trouble with it.
On our side, we are watching your screen and it's moving. Yeah.
So every day, tourists take 1 billion selfies. Dozens of them die every year trying to make a perfect shot. Photos are single most important souvenir, and the local commune makes zero money out of it. And imagine you are this couple in front of the Eiffel Tower and you want a photo together in front of it. So which are your options? You can ask a passerby to take the photo for you and have a good luck with that, or take a selfie and have an ugly photo. And this is exactly why my wife and I don't have a single decent photo together from our honeymoon. It's all photos of me or her. But what if I told you, you can have your perfect photo when you travel anytime you want, and you don't need to struggle to get it. It's my greatest pleasure to present you look at the world's first selfie sculpture to create memories. It has an artistic, autonomous, and it looks fantastic. So how does it work? Tourists connect to look at sculpture over Wi-Fi, as you can see here on this screen left. They can see a live preview. They can add AR over photo of them and send it to their mobile phone. How cool is that? Did I mention also we have a couple of housing versions suitable for all areas, even indoors. So besides AR overlays, tourists can also learn about the attraction through our app and can make a personalized souvenir and send it to wherever in the world. And this is why we exist, with a mission to make tourists live the moment again. We capture those moments for them and make them never to forget. It is why I'm so happy that in less than 6 months after installing several sculptures in Croatia, more than 55,000 photos were made to our sculptures so far. We then raised 300K from angel investors and EU fund and invested all in R&D to improve our product even more. And boy, made our sculptures super smart. We then built a platform and connected all the sculptures to it. We can now make game for tourists, track and analyze data for municipalities. We can do so many cool things for cities. And on top of it all, Luca sculptures bring money, both to us and to the local commune, because we split the profit with them. Our go-to-market strategy is through distributors in every region. So far, we signed contracts with Germany, Austria, France, Dubai, and we have a pre-contract for placing our sculptures at Qatar FIFA World Cup 2022. Our amazing team covers all the areas. We founded startups before and we had exits. Once more, my name is Luca. I'm founder and CEO of Luca. And thank you for this amazing opportunity for giving us to bring our solution to Portugal. Thank you.
You are welcome, Luca. You are welcome. Thanks again. So maybe Vaclav, now you can tell us about a little bit more about Smart Guide.
All right. Can you hear me well?
Sure, we can.
Great. So let me just pick the right screen. All right. So hopefully it's loaded already. So can you see it well?
No, yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Perfect. So Smart Guide is building a leading digital guide marketplace on the mission to turn tourists into explorers. Try to guess which one of these pictures was actually taken before the COVID. Well, actually both. It just depends on which part of the wall you went to, right? So you remember the last time when you really had to elbow your way for your family or friends through annoying crowds of tourists? Well, that's why I never crossed the world famous Charles Bridge before midnight, right? Even though it's 2 minutes from my house. Well, many tourist attractions and destinations want to guide visitors better, but developing their own app is long, costly, and very often fails. So the solution is Smart Guide. Our app turns your phone into an engaging personal guide, which guides you independently outside of the crowds, and like a live guide, tells you interesting stories about the places you visit, even with augmented reality and fully offline, so that you can actually explore the destinations whenever you want to and at your own pace, right? So you can conveniently enjoy the authentic stories from the local guides, which play automatically as you go. Well, our platform makes it orders of magnitude cheaper and faster for our B2B partners, like regions, municipalities, attractions, tour operators, to digitize their content into guides, and without any maintenance headache. The best part is that our B2B partners don't only pay us for our services, they also promote their guides to their customers, which brings users to the platform. And we, of course, take care of those users and we guide them in 400 other destinations around the world. Well, guiding itself is an $8 billion market based on outdated technologies with no leading digital player. So our aim is to define the Smart Guide category. And as a guide, we are uniquely positioned as the point of access for geolocated sales of the booking of activities and experiences, which are expected to be worth $2 trillion by 2025. Well, despite the COVID, Smart Guide now guides over 300,000 users in over 400 destinations, actually almost 500 now. We grew 700% in the last year, because the demand for the independent, authentic guide is actually even stronger during the pandemic. And we won some major competitions like Singapore Tourism Board, Deutsche Bahn Accelerator, and Cedars. We're the official app of Setúbal, and we are negotiating actually quite advanced already partnerships with Braga, Funchal, and Oceanário de Lisboa. So we hope that we can help to guide the tourists in Portugal conveniently. And our team can do it. We have combined over 100 years of experience in travel. We have Harvard and McKinsey alumni and a lot of experienced developers to do that. So we feel now is the best time to really innovate travel and bring top class visitor experience and offer the smart destination management, big data and heat maps and all these solutions to the destinations themselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vaclav. So, guys, I will just add you all again to the screen. Okay. I think we are all here. Yeah, you can stop your sharing. You know, I think that most of you are still sharing your screens. You can stop it right there. You can stop it now if you want. I will not allow the screens to appear, but either way, you can even stop. You know, guys, it's like the main topic of our discussion today is how to provide better experiences to the travelers, right? But I think that to discuss this, we need to start with a little different discussion. That it's how different is the travelers and the tourists from today than the ones that like 30 years ago, because you know there are differences. You know, like the Generation X, it's a completely different thing from our parents and grandparents generation, you know, and it affects the tourism industry also. I would like to have your point of view about this. How different is the tourist and the traveler from today from the one like 30 years ago or 40 years ago? Maybe we can follow the order here in the screen. Maybe Vaclav and then go down.
All right. Well,
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Well, I think if you compare the traveler today and 30 years ago, the main thing is that basically, many age groups want to actually go paperless, right, and use cell phones for as many things as possible. That's one big trend. You can see, we see our major user group is up to 65, so actually it's not a problem anymore. On the other hand, I think that there is too much emphasis on the millennials, who are actually still not that major group of all the tourists who travel, right? So I wouldn't actually fret about them as much as many do. Otherwise, I think the major tendencies are independent travel. So also because of the pandemic, this is one big trend, but it was there before. Authentic travel, so you don't want to go to the top 10 sites from TripAdvisor only, right? And you basically want to get under the surface of the place, and the convenience, right? So with the startups and basically with the services getting better, people just want to travel much more conveniently than they had to before, right? And I think the last trend is that the official tourist information are actually less and less used. People don't go to the tourist information offices. People feel they can Google everything, even though very often the quality is very inferior, and it's very hard to even find the official apps or even websites.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I agree. Luca, what do you think about the difference between the tourist and the...
So I would say that comparing last 30 years to now, is basically we can see it through the advance of the technology. So tourists, you can have basically everything now in your hand, in a mobile phone. Everything is so easy to get now. You wanna go somewhere, but it was 30 years ago. You have hardly any info about the location. There's no Google, there's no anything. Now everything is in your hand, and I think that's a good thing, because technology helps you travel easier. People now live faster. They want to have it all like they want to be careless when they travel. They want to have it all easy. But on the other hand, I think that there's also downsides in all this, because 30 years ago there wasn't a mobile phone in your hand, so you were not distracted. Today you can see people traveling in a new city. They are passing by like Eiffel Tower, and they are watching their mobile phone. They're not enjoying the view. They're not go together with the city. So I also think there's space here to return people back. I don't know how to tell it, but maybe back to basics. People, you have your mobile phones. There's social media. Everyone wants to have a photo there. I'm talking now from our perspective, but come on, you need to enjoy the city. And 30 years ago, people were enjoying it more than today. So as technology helps, I think also there's this downside that I think we need to change it all. Otherwise, we are going to all become robots, and I think that's not the way we want to do it.
Yeah. Karina, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with this. I think like now we have smartphones and internet connection as essential travel gear. So this changed completely. But going to a broader view, more than just the traveling experience itself, but I think this also changed the traveler buying journey. Like now we have travel inspiration all the time. So you just open social media feed and you'll be flooded with photos of people traveling, and this makes you want to travel. This makes you want to experience that. You don't want to miss out, and this is good because makes increase the travel market, but also creates a lot of expectation about the trip. So the destinations and the places and everything needs to attend these expectations. And also this drives to to another aspect, that is this need of sharing the opinions online. So everybody's an influencer now. Like as soon as you post something on the internet, you are influencing someone. So I think destinations and the tourism sector needs to pay attention with that, and to really increase the quality of the services and everything.
Yeah. Adrian, do you agree with Karina?
Yeah, I agree. I think just to complement also, I don't want to take a lot of time because we're the same company, but just to complement, I also think that it gives more confidence to people to explore other places outside of that touristic famous route, because before you needed to go to an agency, and usually it was the same kind of traveling, places with well-structured or already known by tourists. And now you're really free. You just search for it, or people are more confident. They feel safer in exploring new territories. And I think this is one good side also about the technology.
Yeah, sure. Lola, Sarah, what do you think?
I think all well said, and then I would like to just say that then there is three perspectives. One is that, okay, accessibility. Nowadays we do everything with the phone. So all the industries that they adapt themselves when it comes to the digitalization, and then we have to really see how we can really enhance this capability when it comes to the tourism industry. Before we have to go to the banks, now we don't need to go to the banks. We do all our financial needs via the phone or other stuff. So then now when it comes to our travel industry, is that how much we really fulfill the need of the people actually to get this accessibility via the phone. The second thing is that, okay, the pandemic showed us that we can really change our behavior in a sense. Maybe before we were really wanted to be in person, but now we can really see that we can have experiences via the video or maybe live streaming. So this is the second trend when it comes to the behavior. And the third, I think that we were heard about that the local experiences, that it comes that we don't want to really travel to just go to something really touristic. We want to do local experiences when we want to. Instead of hotel, we want to live with the local. We want to go to the places local that they go to eat, and then we want to really experience stuff with the locals. So consequently, I think that these trends, that really shows that we need to really fulfill the people needs when it comes to the industry of the tourism, and that is the reason I think that local it fulfill actually these three trends in a sense of that. But we can talk more about that. Yeah, that's my perspective. Lola, do you have any other?
No, I mean, I agree with everything you said, and everybody has touched on, different aspects as well. I think the one thing I do want to add is, in the past, travel was seen as this luxury opportunity for an exclusive few. Over the years, travel has become more accessible, cheaper, more affordable, but we all have an opportunity now to make travel just an everyday lifestyle through virtual experiences, and that's what this kind of change is going to bring. It's not going to be waiting one time a year to travel. It's now I can travel every day virtually, and it becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah. And I think that we have all agreed during this discussion that yeah, travel is now more free to everyone, and we have also discussed in the previous sessions that travel is now more about the experience, not only about the destination and about what we are doing and about what kind of services can we do give to the tourists. Okay, but I would like to have also your opinion about how do you think that all these changes, this change of behavior is impacting and will impact the companies that works in this industry, because this is something that we have been discussing on past sessions, because it's something really important. I think it's the tourism industry is changing so fast right now that the smaller companies, maybe they are not able to keep track of that, and to adapt themselves, the smaller ones, the smaller companies. What do you think about that? How can the small players adapt, and will these changes impact the small companies that already work in the tourism industry?
It's a very good question. I think that there will be, like in the other industries, there will be two kinds of companies. Those who will really adopt the technology and they will benefit from it, and then there will be the ones who will stay kind of almost offline, and they will really focus on like super personalized services, individual ones, very bespoke, higher price, and basically there will be more matter of even like word of mouth and so on, and they may not actually need to kind of benefit that much from the technology. So I think, and of course, this will be maybe 10% or less of the companies, right? So the rest will actually have to learn and benefit, and those who will learn and benefit more from presence at the different platforms and the trends, they will actually be the winners, in comparison with their peers, right? So as I mentioned before, you can see it on, for example, the tourist information. I mean, the destinations which don't manage to catch up, which don't have good websites, which don't focus on the experiences, but still have, old websites which are still just focused on the points of interest or, whatever, they are just not being used, right? The same thing is with the apps. When you have the own apps which nobody uses because they're very bad, people don't even recognize which one is the official one, and there is no reason to use it, right? So I think the same thing is with the booking. I mean, now everybody can filter, by price, by different categories. If you don't manage to really stand out in some way and really focus on the reviews on TripAdvisor and the major platforms, you can be much better with your product, but it doesn't matter, right? So the marketing has become actually, and the digital marketing and presence has become actually key in travel. And the audiovisual part, of course, as you said before, Luca, is actually a major thing here. And I think that you can see that the public sector is just simply not up to the task. And then for the private sector, I think that we see that a lot of companies are trying now quite desperately to look for new business models. Because, for example, the guiding in the big groups, the buses full of people following the umbrella in the guiding, and similarly, of course, this impacts other parts of the travel industry. That's something of a past. People, I think, will do it now a little bit differently, and we see that it's an earthquake. That those, like for example, tour operators who never spoke to us before, or hop on buses, they're now looking for new, more innovative digital ways how to actually do things, right? So I really hope that this all will lead to even again a little bit more individual travel, and again that we will get to more sustainable travel as well. So the prices, I think, will get quite low soon as well, but it would be great to really actually stress more the sustainability there.
Sure. Luke, what do you think, Luca?
Yeah, so Fernando, I think that at the end, everything is gonna, bottom up. Everything revolves around feeling. And the feeling that person has when experiencing something. So, for example, take 10 people, 10 different people, and give them the exact same travel experience, like the same hotel, same food, same everything, same beaches, all that, and you end up with one person like it, and the other person won't like it at all. And you gave like the same service. So I think whichever company does better personal experience, like you need to target each person by itself, and whoever finds a way to do that on a higher level will end up prospering in this period. So I think companies need to focus on that, and this is something that, for example, we try to do with giving the photo experience. So we want to give people the best photo, but in a way that they don't lose time. They don't lose time. They have time to enjoy the city, to grasp the city, to feel it. And I think everything is going to evolve around that feeling. That's my opinion. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Karina and Adrian, what is your point of view about this?
Well, I think like the core value of the tourism and hospitality is to tell stories. To be a great host, you need to share who you are with visitors, meaning your landscape, your culture, your history, your food, and this will never change. I think what changes the way to tell these stories, how you are going to tell and promote the tourism products. So, of course, we talk about digital transformation, but this comes in totally different shapes and levels. So, like for a small company, like a family-owned business, this means taking smaller actions, right? And use the advantage of the technology and big data and automation to really focus on tasks that adds value and gain efficiency for the business operations in itself. I think this means that for a small business is to actually to really master this travel and buying journey, to being online and present in all micro moments of the traveler, and using technology to enhance the tourism experience. But in the end, it's all about the way you were telling about you to the visitors. I think the value itself is the same.
I can give you an example. When you mentioned that tourism is all about experiencing not a destination, I have to disagree a little bit, because I think that people want to leave the destination, and to leave means to experience. So one cannot go without the other. And this change is how you balance that, how you connect the experience and incorporate the uniqueness of the destination. So an example is a food tour in Bangkok and a food tour in Italy. They are both food tours. You go, you discover local food, but they're completely different in essence, because the experience is how you do it, and the destination is what you get from that place. And then the territory, the culture, and its singularity really makes a difference. So I think it's more about the balance of experience and destination, not one or the other.
Sure. Lola, Sarah, what do you think?
I can go ahead. So, we're all at this transition. The industry is at a transition. And I think it was Vaclav that said that those that aren't catching up digitally are getting left behind. I am actually thinking about it the opposite way, right? Because the people that are mostly offline, the people on the ground that may not be technically savvy, are the ones that have lifted and supported the industry for so long. And that is what kind of our product, Local Post, does. In addition to helping and onboarding people that are tech savvy, we're actually also onboarding the people that are not tech savvy and helping them and holding their hands along. So I think for us, it boils down to empathy and connection. When you connect to a place, when you travel, it's usually because there was something that touched you, that you remember, whether it's an interaction with someone or with a connection you made. And so for us, that's kind of what the experience really revolves around, creating that connection, fostering that connection, and then trying to maintain that connection in the digital environment. So that's kind of what I want to add to that. Sarah?
It's all well said. So I think that, yes, as we really say that this, how we can really empower these locals with this trend of the digitalization, and then how we can really give them the information, as I think that we have heard about that with the new behavior or from the people that they really need, how they can really adapt themselves to serve of this trend of the new behavior. Last but not least is that, meaning that how we can really make it really more competitive by giving them more data, as mentioned. So then 3 of these things, again, how we empower them to really come to the journey strongly. It is maybe our responsibility as a business owner also. But yes, that was for me also.
Yeah, guys, we are really getting short of time, so I will start some questions from the audience. We will not be able to publish them all, and some of them are not to all of you. So don't feel obligated to answer all of you. Okay, that's totally fine. For example, here Angela asks, as art and technology in public space something very interesting? Can we add AR to extend user experience? I think this is more, for example, for Luca, but any of you that wants to answer, you can, okay?
Yeah, I think this correlates with us very much. Thank you for this question, Angela. So yeah, we are trying to connect art and technology. So we are building art-like sculptures to place them at public spaces, and then we are combining technology with that because we want people to use that technology and to prosper from that. And of course, we are already adding AR to that. So, for example, you can take a photo with our sculpture in front of the football stadium, if it's installed in front of the football stadium, and you can, for example, add Cristiano Ronaldo standing next to you in augmented reality, or any other player for Portuguese or any other football team. So I think it can extend user experience, and not only in sports figures. So, for example, we can educate people through augmented reality. For example, you are taking photos in front of some ancient castle, and then you take a photo with a prince or a king that was living there like years ago, and you read a little story about that person, and then the country is presenting its heritage, and users are enjoying the augmented reality photo. Yeah.
I think this crosses also with this question. It's more, it's all about AR and VR. How can they extend the remote experiences at VR and the immersive ecosystems, talking platforms? Actually, we have been talking about this in the previous session, but I think they both interconnect. I want to open discussion to the other speakers. Maybe Lola and Sarah, I guess that you probably also have something to add here. Actually, all of you, it's free.
That's correct. No, and just going back to Angela's question about art and technology. So we are not using augmented reality. We're actually using the live person, right? But we're doing the shopping dynamically on the fly. So we're really customizing the experience and fostering that connection, so that once whatever you buy, you see who you're buying it from, you see that your money is going directly to them. So I don't know how we're going to incorporate augmented reality in the future, something we're looking at. But for us, the priority is fostering that connection and making sure that we're recreating that sustainable income stream again for people, for locals, for artisans on the ground that have lost their income.
Yeah.
So if I could just add, we have had actually the AR navigation for about 2 years in the different destinations, as a part of the walking tours. And, everybody asks about the AR. So to be honest, I have quite a clear opinion. I think the virtual reality remote experience is not really an experience. It can be a teaser, so that you motivate someone to come. It's a different mode. Instead of video, you can have something which is based on VR. But actually you want the person to come and have an experience in the destination, right? You want him to spend time and money there, spend the money with the local people. So actually it was completely overrated as a reaction to COVID, actually, to make the VR, experiences. And it's actually something which is going to disappear very quickly, I believe. Second thing is, people are not going to walk 2 hours, with their phone in front of them. So, for the walking tours, until you will have actually really well capable glasses in terms of the hardware performance as well as the battery performance, this is actually nonsense. So that's going to take another 3 years at least, probably more like 5 before. So we are getting ready for this, but until then it's actually also, it's draining a lot of battery and it's a utopia. What Angela actually asks is actually much more interesting, because you can have a reason why you turn on AR at certain spot where you really have a combination of the public space with something which is virtual, which is an art, which is AR, and which actually enhances the experience some way, right? And this makes sense. So that's what we do, that we prompt the people, hey, here, point the app somewhere and you will see something cool. And this is probably at this moment the only thing which makes sense. The big problem is that actually usually costs a lot of money to make the AR models. So it will be getting cheaper now with the more kind of self-building technologies or platforms for the AR. But unfortunately, still building the custom 3D models is actually extremely expensive. So these dreams of destinations to show how the place, the attraction looked 500 years ago, it's usually tens of thousands of euros, and that's something they don't have really money for in the end of the day. And even if they put it in the app, people really don't use it much because they cannot promote it well. So I would say there is an opportunity, but it's actually still a little bit early for this.
Yeah, makes sense. Adriano, do you want to add something? Maybe Karina?
No,
Well, I kind of agree. I think there is opportunity for all types of tours and technologies. For example, in our case, we are talking about food. So how can you use augmented reality for food? So you were talking about a connection, something that you need to sense and to. It's
well,
difficult, but
we have discussed it before with the 3D printing machines.
Yeah. That's it. But you can use to show maybe traditions around food. You could use augmented reality for that. So I think there is space for everything. But I agree with Vaclav. I think you can't generalize and use this in every case.
Okay. Adriano, you want to add something?
No, I think it was all said already. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we have a lot of questions. Actually, Fabio here is asking us the difference between the Vaclav project, Smart Guide project, and the Google Glasses. Actually, Fabio, if you don't mind, please join the networking area of our event in the Vaclav table after the session, and I'm pretty sure that Vaclav will be glad to clarify that for you. Actually, we have here another question that it's interesting for us for all discuss. What functionalities should be improved so we can have a truly all-in-one experience app platform in the tourism industry? What do you think, guys? This is a different question, actually.
Well, for us, what we're trying to do, as Karina mentioned before, is to be present in the entire buying journey of the user. So they usually start looking for inspirational content. They look for photos, they read about it, and then it starts moving to planning. And then there's a decision to make to let me book this or that. And we try to be present from the inspiration to the booking of experience and post-sales. I think this is something that you really need to digitalize also the sector and the players, but as you are present in this entire journey of the customer, I think the user experience improves a lot. So I think for us, it's something that we're trying to work on, is to really be present since inspiration to after the sales experience, get feedback to continue improve also.
Sure. And what about the other participants, the other speakers? Lola, Sarah, what do you think?
Sarah, do you want to say something?
You go ahead. Go ahead, I will just.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, and I think one of the things that we've realized, and that's why we create a local first, is that when you go to a place, what makes a place memorable is what you bring back. It could be a memory, it could be a photo, it could be a physical item, but that's kind of what creates a connection that this reminds me of that place. And that's actually what we've done. We've gone one level from just virtual experiences to add on the e-commerce part, the dynamic e-commerce. And just the last few months with the traction we've seen, it gives back 6 times the value of booking an experience. 6 times that value goes back to the economy. We have that stats. So that is why when you think about this all-in-one experience, for us, we're adding that part, that kind of shopping element, because part of that experience is bringing something back that connects you to the place, and then you can also see who you are supporting as well. So that's what we've been kind of doing and creating at Localpost.
Yeah, makes sense. Luca, what do you think? I don't know actually. Sarah, do you want to add something just to make the same order? No, that's fine. Luca, what do you think?
Personally, I think that all-in-one platform to cover everything, it is a big bite. I think that it's better to focus just on one area and to conquer it. For example, we are providing food and road is providing like another type of the experience, and they're gonna be ruler of their area. We can rule our area, but try to combine everything. We can divide it in like 6 senses. I think that's hard, and focusing at one thing and being the best at that thing, I think it's better. That's my opinion.
Well, for me, if I can just share my view very quickly, I think travel is all about the experience, and that's why it has to be in destination experience with as many senses as possible, because the experience, the emotion, that's what creates in the end the memory, right? And if you support the memory and you want to recall it later with a photo or with an item, or just without anything, that's already your decision, right? How do you recall that experience? But it's all about creating emotions. And that's why I think that the whole virtual vibe is actually nonsense, right? So you want to go there, you want to, taste the food, you want to actually see the things, you want to meet the people, you want to smell the place. So we can be an enabler to actually manage to get the most out of the trip. But I feel that you really still have to go to the place and use your normal offline senses, right? And maybe you can augment it a little bit in some ways where it makes sense. But honestly, I feel that there is so much vibe about things which are just completely unnatural and which actually in the end don't work. So I really think that we should be an enabler, to the normal offline travel, to make it maybe more authentic again, to make it maybe more, say effective in terms of the time we have, but not really try to substitute now the normal experience with some virtual whatever.
I would like to, if we have some time, I would like to respond to that. Travel, we're trying to make travel more accessible. So that is talking from a point of view that says everybody can afford to travel, right? So there are ways of opening travel to people that may not be able to travel to that destination, even if it's been their lifelong dream, and then bringing them virtually in that way. Or for example, destinations that may have stigmas around those destinations, you can still bring them virtually. So there is a lot of power in virtual experiences. It is making travel more equitable, it's making it more accessible, and I'm just really thrilled to see the future of virtual.
Yeah, sure.
But just another compliment in is like Luca, I think it's difficult to have all-in-one platform, because I think it's more like a niche-focused platform, because the information there and the types of the curation of the experience, because we have now available a lot of things on the internet, but which ones are the really good ones? So I think the niche focused, like us, Localpost, all the startups here are very specialized in its own niche, and I think this is a trend that will come, like people really understand what they are looking for and going for specialized platforms and agencies.
Yeah, completely agree on that. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I don't know if you have any final remarks that you want to share with the public. We are really getting out of time. At some point the people from the next session will like beat me or something. They are already here waiting. But you have any final thoughts?
Well, if I may, I would just appeal on everyone not to go to the top 10 sites and TripAdvisor everywhere, but really try to get a little bit under the surface of the place and actually, as you said before, use the locals, and the local products. Don't buy the, plastic souvenirs made in China, but really, do your homework and actually spend the money with the local people for the local products in destination.
Yeah, we are receiving more or less the same feedback here from in the comment sections. Thanks again, guys. It was really great to have this discussion with you. Okay, just remember for the ones that are hearing us that this discussion can continue on the tables on the virtual fair. Okay, so you can go to the virtual fair, you can go to the networking area and discuss this face to face with our speakers and keep the discussion happening. I think that we have at least one person there that are telling us that wants to discuss about food. So go to the food on the road table, and you can keep your discussions there on the social lounge, and you can check all the details about the projects on the virtual fair. If you don't want to discuss right now, you can check the details and send an email and continue the discussion later. Okay. But just go there to the official website and assess the virtual fair, and you will be able to do it. In the meantime, I would like to thank you again and to tell everyone that we will come back in 5 minutes, not 10, in order to keep the discussing. It will be our last panel from today, and we will discuss the future of the hotels and how the hotels will look like in the future. Okay, it's in our next panel in 10 minutes. See you all then. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
See you soon. Hi everyone, welcome again to Tourism Tech Summit. We will now have our last session of today, okay? And we will discuss the future of hotels and how hotels will look like in the future. In order to do this, we will, like in the previous sessions, have some of our finalists here with us. We will have Alex from Rev App, we will have Osgur from Wipi, we will have Martin from Valpas, and we will have Rolf from Oledo. Welcome, guys. Welcome, everyone. How are you?
Hello, good afternoon.
Thanks for being here and to be able to discuss this with us. I think that for the first part of the session we will do in the previous ones, and we will start with by getting to know your projects a bit. Okay, so maybe Alex, can you tell us more about RevApp?
Absolutely. Shall I share my screen or?
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Perfect. Yeah, just give me a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see my presentation?
Sorry?
Can you see my presentation?
Yeah, we can. We can see your presentation right now.
Amazing. So, okay, I will walk you through very fast on what RevUp does. So, good afternoon once more. I'm Alexandros Toulias. I'm the CEO of RevUp. RevUp offers an innovative machine learning dynamic pricing tool to individual hotels and vacation rentals, and helps them to maximize room revenues and also significantly decrease operational time for the room pricing process. Our vision is to offer this kind of clients the competitive advantage that the big chains have, which is data-driven decisions. And why is that? Well, room pricing is very important, but at the same time, very challenging. First, the hotelier can experience lost revenues due to mispricing strategies and tactics, and also increased fixed costs because he may pay for an expensive software or pay additional for additional hires. Second, the room pricing process is very time consuming. Therefore, we offer a very affordable and customized pricing tool to help the hotelier not only increase the room revenues, but also significantly decrease the time that he spends in this kind of operations. And this is why we strongly believe that Portugal is an ideal place for us, because the majority of the hotels in Portugal are almost 75%. They are small and medium-sized businesses, and they can directly be benefited by our tool in their attempt to come back from the pandemic and be more competitive. We have designed a tool which is designed by hoteliers, and actually how it works, it is very simple. It works in 3 steps. It collects data, the market movements, data regarding the competition, as well as property characteristics. And the most important, which is also our unique selling point, is that it tracks down the habits of the user. And all this data, they feed in the algorithm. The algorithm makes pricing recommendations, and then the prices are automatically being uploaded to the PMS. We created the company last August, and in less than a year, we have achieved many of our milestones. For example, we got some pre-seed funding, we increased our team, we validated our product, and currently we launched our commercial product and signed our first paying and trial users. And the last part, this has happened while we were participating at Aceler. The product is very simple, as I told you before, and it looks something like this. Every day, the algorithm makes new recommendations for the next 365 days. And the user can intervene, of course. If he doesn't agree with the price, he can edit it manually, and then everything goes automatically again to the PMS. The team consists of a highly complementary skilled team, one software engineer, a data analytics specialist who is also a professor at the IE Business School in Madrid, and myself, who I come from the industry. At the moment, we are currently actively looking for funding, as well as to expand our partnerships. So we would be more than happy to further discuss this after the end of this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alex. Okay, Osgur, can you tell us about Weeby?
Of course. And I will share my screen.
Sure.
And I think you see my screen, right?
Yeah, we are seeing it. Don't worry.
Okay. So I'm Özgür Zan, co-founder and CEO of VB. We enable better engagement. We are all travelers, and which one of us doesn't want a safe stay, especially during COVID-19, and who wants to wait in a long queue at the front desk for a simple request? Which of us doesn't get angry for a slow or low quality service? And who doesn't get upset when a miscommunication occurs due to a language difference? So while guests demand this perfect world, hoteliers also have their challenges. They want to increase their revenues, positive review scores, social distancing measures, direct bookings, and they obviously don't want to pay high commissions. The solution is VB. VB is the digital bridge between hoteliers and the guests. With VB, hotel guests can fulfill any of their needs via their smartphones, remotely, and without any need to talk with someone. And with VB, guests can do all kind of reservations, all kind of requests, mobile check-in, check-out, and online payments. Even they can open their rooms with their smartphones without using a magnetic card. And VB also provides market automation software for hoteliers so that they can communicate, send personalized messages, and increase revenues. Hoteliers get increased hotel revenues, they have high return of investment, and high review scores. So VB detects unsatisfied guests real time while they are in the hotel and inform the hotel about the issue so that they can take action before the guest leaves and writes bad message in like in TripAdvisor. And of course, increasing direct booking like in web. So we developed this amazing solution based on guests and hoteliers' needs. Guests can do all the magic with hotel branded app, and hoteliers enjoy the ride with our services on the cloud. Our business model depends on one-time activation fee and a monthly service fee. VB has a huge business opportunity where our service obtainable market size includes 258,000 hotels. And our superior user experience, state-of-the-art technology, makes our solution fully customizable and worth money in terms of competition. We have an amazing and ambitious management team with more than 15 years of experience, both in technology and in tourism industries. And we had a revenue growth of 65% in previous year, and we aim for an exponential growth for the next 5 years. We received one round of investment, and now 2 significant VCs and 4 significant angel investors will join our company. We are already a market leader at our home country, and when we look at the traction, VB is already delivered to 23 countries, serving more than 160 hotels and including major brands all around the world. We are very proud to say that we are recognized as one of the top most disruptive startups by United Nations World Tourism Organization among 1,183 applicants in 110 countries. And we also have other global efforts from the other organizations. So thank you for listening.
Sorry, I was on mute, so you didn't hear anything I said. No, I was saying thank you, Osgur. Thank you for presenting us such an amazing startup as VB. And now let's go to Valpas. Martin, what can you tell us about Valpas? Martin, I think that you are on mute.
Yeah, following your example.
Yeah, you know.
All right.
Okay. We are seeing your screen right now, so don't put anything private.
Yeah. Okay. 7 years ago, I was traveling with my girlfriend in Southeast Asia when we had the worst experience. We encountered bed bugs and brought them back home. I got so frustrated with the whole extermination back home that out of that frustration, we founded a better extermination company. It was a success. We scaled it into industry leader here in Finland and later actually sold it. However, we also learned what is the real issue behind the global bedbug epidemic around the world. And the problem is that bedbugs, while they are tangible, they actually spread like a virus. And there is no vaccine for them. It's impossible for anyone to avoid them out there in the open. And that's why they have spread into the biggest hygiene problem in travel. However, we also learned about their weakness. You see, while it's impossible to avoid bedbugs out there in the open, the moment you carry bedbugs into a bedroom, they have this compulsive need to move towards sleeping people, to suck our blood and reproduce, attracted by the CO2 in our breathing. We at Valpas capitalized this weakness and developed the solution. Valpas is a new hygiene standard, a new digital hygiene standard that empowers hotels to keep people and themselves safe from bedbugs. It's a category-creating bedbug safety standard that creates a whole new category in the market. It consists of 3 parts. First, our smart anti-bedbug bed legs, once installed under beds, they collect and eliminate bedbugs before any harm, early enough, so that guests or the hotel are not affected by it. Second, the legs are easy to use and notify whenever bugs are caught and can be monitored through the Valpas app. Finally, people and travelers can recognize safe Valpas member hotels from the Valpas label integrated on hotel landing pages. With over 2 million safeguarded room nights in over 60 highly rated hotels around Europe, Valpas member hotels have saved 100% of financial losses and health hazards due to bedbugs, as well as increased direct booking conversion rates by up to 35%. We sell it as a service at 99 euros per room per year. And all our member hotels are super happy. We have 0% client churn, even almost 1.5 years into the pandemic. Since then, the travel and hospitality market has changed radically, and new priorities are hygiene and automation. So it's the perfect moment to scale Valpas. And we're actually seeing it already. First hotel groups have made Valpas a brand standard. And since starting the Aceler program, we have signed over 250,000 in pre-orders, including Pestana Group in Portugal. This would not be possible without our resilient team that has built a category-creating new hygiene standard for a 7 billion euro problem with just over 600,000 in raised equity. Just last week, we signed a first close of 700,000 for our seed round, and we're still keeping open another 900,000 for a second close. But that's not all. Valpas can help whole destinations bounce back faster. With close collaboration between individual hospitality providers, tourism associations, local, and Valpas, Valpas can help destinations bounce faster with elevated hygiene standards and profiling as the safest destination in the world. My name is Martin Gois. I'm co-founder and CEO of Valpas, and look forward to connecting after the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Okay, now it's time to hear about Oledo. Rolf, are you there? Because I'm not seeing your camera very well. I think Rolf's camera is not working. Rolf? No, it started to work and then stopped. You know, this is one of the technical problems on the... Oh no, yeah, just got out of signal. This is that problems that only appear when you are having an online event. Oh no, and we have Rolf again, trying to connect. Rolf! Well, hello, welcome.
I signed in and out. Is it now?
Yeah, but we can see you now. Can you tell us about Oledo? Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry, I just wanted to check if you can hear me or not.
Yeah, I can. We can. We are
Okay,
hearing you.
There's a delay.
Can you tell us about? Can you tell us about Oledo?
Yeah, absolutely. So just to create some context, just imagine for a second how many people in the world work in hospitality. It's around 100 million people at any given point in time. And if you've done any research, you'll know that the staff turnover in hospitality in rank and file and middle management is around 50%, and then senior management up sometimes is up to 25%. So with these numbers in mind, if you take your average hotel of let's say 100 staff, with an average staff turnover of 50%, a hotel of 100 staff is always recruiting 50 people at any given point in time. So as an industry, if you extrapolate that across the planet, you can imagine that recruiting. So you could say we're in the recruitment business, and you'd think we'd be very good at it by now because of the practice we have, given the amount of recruitment we're doing. And so we can still identify lots of problems, though, however. So a friend of mine, for example, was working for a world famous hotel as a director of sales and marketing. She got a call from another big brand, and they couldn't match because they didn't have the finances to hire her. But they said, we're going to put you in our talent file. So from now on, you're one of our stars. We really want to hire you if we have a chance. A year later, the conversation picks up again, and the person calling from that hotel company had absolutely no recollection that they've reached out to my friend a year earlier. And, that kind of left a bad taste in my friend's memory about that hotel group. And, we always say, staff is our most valuable asset. And for some reason, we just can't get it together. So there's lots of tools in the market to help recruiters recruit. And there's a complete oversupply. There's job sites, there's application management systems, there's huge expensive software, there's small players in the market, and we still haven't found the solution. Why can't we get this recruitment right? And the thing is, recruitment is not a single task. Recruitment is an end-to-end process that affects everybody through the organization. Recruitment doesn't only happen in the basement where the HR department sits. Recruitment happens at department head level, at general manager level, at colleagues level. And you need to take a holistic approach So we've developed a technology suite that individual suppliers have, tried to build sections of it, but we're the only one that I'm aware of in the market that's built an end-to-end solution from CV hosting, lead generation, talent management, all the way through the process of negotiations, interviews, and offers and hiring. And this tool enables hotels really to manage their staff, not only the people that are working for them now, but the future talent pool and also the past talent pool, because we spend so much time training people and then they're upwardly mobile, but maybe we don't have a job for them, so they go somewhere else. But just because they've gone for a while doesn't mean we don't want to hire them again. So our tools, our suite of tools really enables hotels to look at staff holistically over the course of their career and bring them back into the fold whenever we need to. Thank you for your time.
You are welcome. You are welcome, Rolf. Okay, so guys, I will just add you all to the screen right now. Okay, and now you can start the discussion itself. Once again, I invite everyone that is hearing us to send us comments and questions that you can have to the audience. But let's start with a question that we have been kind of exploring during the previous sessions. And you know what? During that sessions, we have discussed how the tourism is changing. And one of the things that we learned was that tourism is more and more about the experiences and less about the destination itself. It's not just about the experiences, sure it's not, but it's more and more about it during the last few years, okay? And that's actually one of the things that it's changing in the tourism industry. How do you think that this will affect the hotels, okay? Because if people are more concerned now about the experiences and not if they will go to the better resort, how will that affect the hotels? How can the hotels adapt to this change of behavior, let's call it that way? You can go with any order you want.
I can begin if you want.
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
Yeah, thank you. So actually, this is exactly what Weeby does. And I think other very good startups also, like Martin, they are also trying to avoid some bad experience. So, and we are trying to create good experiences. So this is what experience design is. So we design the guest experience and try to increase the engagement among the guests and the hotels. So the new demands are more personalized services and flawless guest experience because the pandemic has changed people's perceptions. For example, they want more personalized experiences, high cleanliness standards, and privacy, and they are being the most desirable needs. Much of the appeal of mobile technology can be attributed to its customer-centric offerings, as the modern traveler craves personalization and unique experiences within every touch point of their stay. So actually guests want to see that the hotels investments care for them and enhance their experiences, because everything is about experiences. And so one of the key for that is guest experience and engagement platforms like VB. So hotel apps are seen the most important tools in guest experience, because smartphone is the most essential travel item based on a research done in 19 countries. So I would like to repeat this. So smartphone is the most essential travel item, and also it's the most convenient one. So before pandemic, touch solutions were very nice to have, but now they are must to have for hospitality.
Yeah.
So for example, 96% of the guests, they want all kind of online reservations. 90% of guests want mobile payments. 88% of guests want digital menu, restaurants, spa menus, and packages orders. And 85% of the travelers book activities while on a vacation via an application, and also 80% of them want mobile check-in, check-out, and 76% want keyless room entry. So, of course, there will be always in-person customer service and communication, but they also want to prefer chat with hotel staff via a mobile device. So,
Yeah.
with access to a mobile concierge, guests are guaranteed 24/7 support and a more responsive and trackable on-property guest service experience. So,
Makes sense.
yeah, briefly, mobile phones are cited to be a traveler's most important travel accessory, and as a result, it's no surprise that the demands placed on a mobile app offering are becoming more robust and advanced in nature. Luckily, curating a responsive and engagement mobile experience is entirely within reach. So these are what we believe is VB according to
Yeah.
the guest experience design.
Yeah. Martin, what do you think? You are on mute again. You are not following my example this time, because this time I wasn't.
Burn. Yeah, thanks, Fernando.
No, you're welcome.
Yeah, I think good opening statement definitely for the discussion. Maybe my 2 cents would be, I'm a passionate traveler, so I kind of think from the guest's perspective when I look at hotels and see hotels implications. And as a traveler, I think this question about destination versus experience, it's a bit funny because of course the destination is part of the experience. The experience is maybe the kind of holistic thing that you experience when you go to some place. It has it's the sum of all the kind of touch points that you engage with during your trip. And if you look at a hotel, you actually end up staying quite a lot of time in a hotel during your whole travel journey.
At least you feel like to sleep, right?
Yeah, exactly. True. True. And so I think that hotels are actually an essential part of a great travel experience, and they can really be a piece in that whole puzzle that
Sure.
makes or breaks the experience. So yeah, I think hotels, a good kind of way to think about for hoteliers, that for travelers, in a traveler's perspective, it's perhaps even the most important part of a great travel experience. And then going from there, thinking ways on how to, and then again thinking from my traveler's perspective, I think the best hotels are able to anticipate the needs that the traveler has during that experience. And the best hotel experiences I personally have in 4 different continents are where your kind of needs have been met even before you need to kind of ask for it. And that's a great experience for the traveler. So yeah, I think hotels, important to think that they're an essential part of that whole guest journey of the traveler and can have a great impact on it.
Oh, and let's hope that the experience doesn't include bringing bed bugs to home, right? Let's
yeah,
hope.
Of course.
Well, Alexander, what do you think about that?
Actually, this question is really relevant these days. And after discussing with so many different hoteliers, we have seen that more and more hoteliers, both small-sized and bigger chains, they have started embedding new technologies into their systems in order to adapt to this experience uh, wave and trend, let's say. So, for example, we were talking with a hotelier the other day that they are using on their website new add-ons from other startups, startups that they offer experiences. So, for example, if I stay at a hotel, I can just log on their website, and they have different kind of um, settings and possibilities which I can choose from. For example, regarding concierge service or regarding boat trips, etc., etc. So hoteliers, I think nowadays they try to make a direct connection with the experienced world to be as flawless as possible for the guest. So I'm a guest. I just go on the hotel website and I book my experience, which is suggested by the hotel, or I can find my own through the hotel website, which is amazing because this was not possible even 5 years ago.
Yeah, no, I understand. And Ralph, what do you think about this?
Well, I think we need to look at this from a few angles. And the first one I would offer is that we can separate convenience and experience. They're not the same thing. Imagine you're sitting in a restaurant. Imagine you're sitting in a restaurant and you order your meal with a smartphone, and somebody brings your meal to you. And then imagine you're sitting in a restaurant where you have a trained service person come to you and speaks to you about the menu items and what's in season and where the fish got caught that very morning and how the chef has prepared it. That's an experience which is quite different from the convenience of maybe technology. And I think that's always been at the heart of hospitality, and the heart of great hospitality has been the experience that we give people and the memories we create for people as they leave our establishment. And that could be a hotel, it could be a restaurant, it could be a museum. And I think technology is great. I mean, we created a tech company to deal with problems, but at the heart of it is still the human-to-human interaction. And it's been a great shame that COVID really ripped that apart for a while. And there's this huge pent-up demand right now for people to really hug each other, greet each other, be with each other. So the opportunity right now for hospitality is really to work on our experiences. I don't think experience is a new demand. I think it's always been there, but now's an opportunity to really have a strong comeback by training our people, by taking the time to be with people. And I could go on and on, but I yield the floor to the next question.
Yeah. Yeah. The next question actually it's a little different. Okay. I want you to make an exercise of thinking about the hotels of the future. That's actually the base point of this discussion, right? And we have been here discussing. I mean, that a lot of things will change in the hotels of the future. But I want to understand from you what you think that will keep the same. What will the hotels of the future always have? I know. Okay, it will be beds, I guess. I think at least I can't imagine an hotel without a bed or a place at least to take a nap, even if you don't sleep all the night there. But what do you think what are the biggest changes that you can predict in one side, and what do you think that will always be the same? Okay, and the other side, and beds doesn't count.
So I can't. Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you. So I can discuss regarding my domain, which is the RMS, the revenue management space. We have seen a dramatic and an exponential growth regarding the hoteliers and also vacation rentals adopting revenue management systems in their daily operation. For example, if you go back like 20 years ago, the idea of Booking.com or Expedia, it was really fresh, and it was not like today. People meaning the hoteliers have not adopted OTAs 20 years ago, and even though Booking.com existed, most of the hoteliers they were stuck on doing the reservations by themselves, and they preferred selling directly to walk-ins, for example. And then also all the channel management systems came, which was a huge revolution because instantly every hotelier could sell to different distribution channels. Um, and now is the era of the revenue management revolution, let's say, uh, where many systems like ours, RevUp, we try to help hoteliers to understand what the market dynamics are and where the prices are moving to, and tell them in a polite way, okay, you were doing something by yourself for the last years, but please try to consider, in order for you to maximize your revenues and your occupancies, try to consider also what the rest of the market is doing and take that also into consideration. And we have we have experienced that people are welcoming this new technology. So more and more hoteliers are embedding technology in their daily operations, and especially now due to COVID, everybody wants to be much more competitive than the neighbor. So they are hiking and welcoming new technologies heavily in their business. For example, a small example is that, for example, the revenue management software space. Right now, only 17% of the hotels use an RMS system, and this shows a huge potential growth for the industry and how people will start evolving and they will start implementing this kind of technology as well in their businesses.
Yeah. What do you think, Oscar, for example?
Well, it's a really good question. I mean, thought-provoking question, and I think
Yeah.
hotel place, sun, sand, sea, like those destinations, they will remain, but everything else will be reshaped, I think, or transformed. So when we look at the last year, decision makers are faced with a dilemma. Should they have a digital digitalize their guest journey? Should they disrupt their own way of making their own business? Now, I believe that, like Christensen said lots of years ago, if they do not disrupt, if they do not disrupt their own business, someone else will come and disrupt it for them. So the digital compendium and digital journey is a must to be tracked on the race. So today hotel operations concentrates on management systems to monitor and optimize revenues, customer relations, property, channels, and reputations. And in the near future, more budgets will be allocated to mobile, cloud-based, and integrated solutions. And I believe that the most important ones will be integrated messaging, predictive analytics, use of artificial intelligence, augmented reality, customer profiling, and gateways which will connect disparate legacy systems of hotels. So
Yeah.
there's also a growing trend for combining these different legacy systems. And
Yeah.
while the hotels faced unprecedented challenges last year, of course, we see a positive way in the way decision makers are responding to new customer demands for the innovative technologies, and and also for the digital nomads. I think a significant majority of hoteliers will also offer or plan to add mobile reservations, contactless payments, smart TVs, and content streaming in guest rooms, two-way messaging with the guests, and mobile room key. So this reflects a significant reimagining of the guest's experience. So I think that's a really good question. And last, my personal belief is that in the past, like everything changes, disrupts in 20 years or 10 years. But now it will all change in less than 10 years, maybe 5 years or 7 years like this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Martin, yeah, Martin, what do you think? I think that they will keep at least healthy is safe, right?
Yeah, I think a healthy,
or there will
clean
be more.
Yeah, I think a healthy, clean stay is one of the things that hasn't changed, 20 years from today, and probably won't change. That's something that's like the fundamental promise of a hotel night, no matter how many stars it has. Now you said that, okay, you can't say beds, something that will not change.
Well, no, but you can say a part of the bed.
But I will add the guest. So those are the two things that probably will remain constant. That the hotel has a bed and a guest, but everything else around that, I think it's totally up for grabs, and we don't know how precisely will look like a hotel, from 20 years from now. Now, I do think that one of the greatest things about it is that if hotels can just think always through the lens of the customer, always through the lens of the guest, that what are the guests' needs today, and how I can anticipate them, or how I can meet them in ways that reflect today's world. And for example, I think Amazon is one of the most customer-centric companies, and that's been one of their kind of recipes for success. And it goes to the point where in the board of Amazon, there's an empty seat, and the empty seat at the board of Amazon is to reflect the customer. So that empty seat is their customer, so that in every major decision that they make, they also hear the customer. And so thinking or implementing this kind of thinking from here on, I think hotels can steer their experience and operations and everything more towards the needs of today's guests. Maybe the second point is that technology probably will be a more important piece of that puzzle. And the good thing about technology is that this is not a thing about what will be important. This is more about how to go about it. And I think the difference today and 20 years from today is that when a hotel 20 years ago would think about purchasing some solutions to increase the whole experience of the hotel, those would be kind of very, very important and sometimes even risky decisions. You're investing sometimes quite a lot. You're making these big purchases for the whole hotel, and it's a one-time thing, and then you have to live with that decision and its consequences. And it can go wrong. Today and from here on, more and more of these solutions are technology enabled, and that means that the purchasing is also different. So I think all of our business models, for example, here and the solutions that we offer, they are on a monthly or yearly basis. So the difference is that you're able to actually try out a lot of different solutions before finding what really works for you, and before committing and to a given solution, and you're able to see how your guests feel about it, and to see the impact there. So I think that with these new solutions, there comes also a window of opportunity for hoteliers to experiment with different solutions, and be and that's why I can't highlight the fact of the importance of being courageous and trying out different things, testing them out with the staff and the guests, and the impact on the experience, and just going out there and trying to get out of that the way that you used to buy things for the hotel, and just embracing what technology offers in terms of experimentation, and just trying out different things, and then seeing for yourself what works. I think that's a big shift in mindset that will probably bring a lot of rewards for hoteliers who embrace that experimentation.
Yeah, I understand. But you could say the legs of the beds, it was okay. Just the beds itself, it wasn't. But you made a better point. I'm just kidding with you. Yeah. Rolf, what do you think?
Well, if you look at the hotel's profit and loss statement, you see the two biggest expenses are human resources and the cost of ports in goods and services. And if you look at technology across hotels over the last few years, you can see that a lot of applications have been developed to really lower expenses on the staff side. You know, you have virtual concierges, guest checks in themselves, check out by yourself, open your room with your smartphone, and so forth. So these are all technologies that are, you know, addressing staff costs and also staff shortages and this trend is going to continue until we find a point where there's no more guest experience. So I think what's going to happen now is we're going to see a lot of technology going to areas that are behind the curtain, in the production side, in kitchens, in prep areas and so forth. So we're going to see a lot of AI and a lot of automation there, to really try and reduce operating expenses and staffing needs. And we're going to try and keep the guest experience as possible, maybe with fewer but more trained staff. And I think that's really the trend of hotels. More technology to cut operating expenses and more training to give people staff experiences of their stay.
Yeah. No, I understand. Actually, I had more questions for you, but you know what? We really need to move on for the questions from the audience. You know, because we are getting short of time. I will just choose a few from the ones that we received. That maybe this one. Do you think that augmented reality using graphical information overlays to enhance in situ environment is the future? You know, we are. It's not mandatory for you to answer. To all of you, answer it. It's like more about the using of the augmented reality in the hotels industry, I think. Actually, this question overlaps a little bit with this one. I think if videos providing the degrees of the restaurants and on the hotels and the hotels itself they will keep happening, or or the hotels eventually will really need to adapt to the AR and VR technology and start to make, like, for example, I don't know if it's the question, I'm building in the question, but do you think that probably in the future hotels will need to make like virtual tours of the rooms and show people, you know what, this is our room, you can see the smart glasses, all the room around, you have these facilities, this is our swimming pool?
Actually, it's for example, one of our customers, we provide them this utility for 360-degree view of the rooms, and the guests really love it because before they came or even after they came, they may go to a better room if they see that. And I would just tell you that in every kind of report about the future tourism, they are pointing out augmented reality. We are not having integrated any augmented reality yet, but I really believe that it will create value because every kind of report says so. And I think we will see more applications, and when we see more applications, it will create value.
Okay. And what do you think, the rest of the speakers? What do you think that will be the role of these new technologies?
I think it's a great sales tool, great marketing tool. If you have, you're shopping around for your holiday and you have one hotel that has a VR tour and it's a great product, it's probably going to be more enrolling than the hotel who doesn't. But I don't think it's going to replace the actual stay.
Okay.
Totally agree with you. Totally. I mean, it's good to have it marketing-wise, but the bottom
so
line.
It's the cherry in the top of the cake. It's not the cake itself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Martin, do you agree? By the way, it's.
Yeah, I agree with the what was said earlier by fellow founders. I do think that there will be a more we will see hotels that will find ways. I don't know if the tool will be AR or so, but we'll find ways to highlight more specifically what each room has, or what the common spaces have to offer. Because today it's still very pick based, and it's based on the category of the rooms. But I think you're already starting to see hotels that are adopted, especially smaller hotels that have just a smaller amount of rooms. They go to a very granular approach where they actually showcase every single room as a unique one. I think this may be a great advantage for even bigger hotels to kind of showcase their products in a unique way. So basically what Airbnb and all these apartments and rentals have been able to create, this kind of unique one room. I think some hotels are already doing it pretty nicely with just basic tech. So again, here, I wouldn't say that the tech is the actual solutions. Again, meeting the guests' needs and concerns.
Sure. Okay, Alexander, do you want to add something? I think that I kind of interrupted you before. Sorry.
No, actually, I was saying I was agreeing that as a marketing tool, it's amazing, and especially for bigger chains because they can afford this kind of solutions. But I don't think it changed much in the bottom line, at least in the foreseeable future. Okay, you never know what's going to happen in 10 years, but in the foreseeable future, it's a great marketing tool. That's it.
Okay, we have another question. I think that probably will be the last one because we are getting really short of time, and this is about a specific change or specific technology. Do you think that deploying real-time translation earphones, for example, which allow hotel staff to converse with their guests in their native tongue, is something to consider? For example, actually, it's something that I can't see why is not happening right now. It's kind of one of these steps that we can kind of less make voice recognition right now, and we have Google Translate, right? Like integrate some.
Well, can I just answer to this?
Sure.
I know that there is a startup, a company in United States doing this technology, real time, and I think it's being used in the very near future. As we use auto translation. While the guest is writing something, we auto-translate it to the language of the hotel home country. And when the hotel staff in their own language writes something, we automatically translate it to the guest language. So this is a feature which the tourists really like because especially writing is also important when communicating, because, for example, I ordered hamburger to my room and I said I want hamburger but without tomato, and the hamburger came with tomato, and I asked the person why did you put tomato. He said we understood without potato. So and I was not sure about what I said. Maybe I was wrong, maybe he was wrong, but when you write it and if it's auto-translated, then everything will be in recorded. So that's something very interesting, and I really wonder how it will happen when those will be translated in real time. I really wonder about it.
Does someone wants to add something? Yeah, I agree. It will happen. Sure, it's something to consider. Guys, we are really getting short of time. Do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share with the audience about the future of the changes that hotels will have in the future?
Well, yeah. Sorry, I would just like to thank you, Fernando. You have done a great job. Of course, the experience will be changed. And thanks to all the companies here, the startups, wonderful startups you selected. And thank you for all the efforts. I will just say this.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Aceler.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, likewise from our side. Thank you all.
Good way to end. For me, you know, I will end right now because for us we will end in the app side. No, thanks again, guys. It was a really great discussion. I think it was really interesting, and I want to thank you again for everyone that is listening. I will repeat again one more time that you can continue this discussion in the virtual fair. You know, you have like a area there, a zone where you can go to the lounge area, and you can discuss this face to face with the founders. You just need to go to their tables and join them there, or you can just find out the information on the virtual fair, the emails and all of that, and you can send them an email. Actually, I know that one of the guys that was listening in the previous session already sent an email to Food and Road because they told me about during this session, so it was great. You can do the same, follow the example. And I would like to thanks again for everyone that is listening. Thanks again for you. This was the last session, the last discussion of today. And you know what? I want to invite everyone to come here to join us tomorrow at 4 p.m. Portuguese time zone or GMT +1 in order to watch the final awards ceremony and to discover from all the startups that we have that we had here today, which one will win the first prize, the second prize, and third prize of Aceler Tech. It will be a great event. We will review here a 1-minute speech for each startup again, and we will discover who are the winners. It will be the great ending of all Aceler Tech program. From my side, it was an honor to have you all here. Thanks again for allow us to do this job and to allow us to organize these kind of events. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. And we'll keep in touch. Acredita Portugal will keep organizing more and more initiatives like this one. And thanks again, everyone. I hope to see you all tomorrow at the great ending of Aceler Tech. See you all soon.